see, my home is where my heart is, so I reach for high.
You know what, PJ? I always fall asleep in the clouds. That song's very apropos for me.
Oh, forgive me for one sec because we have an echo here and I'm trying. There we are. Okay. I apologize, folks. And we had an echo and I had miscalculated. Hi, Alena. Good to see you.
Hello there, PJ. Good to
Yes,
see you too.
I did not fall asleep. I was doing something.
How late is it there?
I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We have some wonderful people who've come over from our Orville Nation stream. So thank you for coming over. Feel free to comment, guys. This is Alena Chapman. I think some of you guys know her as the Mystical Muse. Alena, tell some of these, tell some of our new friends, well, some of our old friends who are new to this chat, exactly who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Alena Chapman, and if you want to check out more, you can go to alenachapman.com. Oh, good. Thank you for letting us know. I am a mystic and also a healer of souls. I do a lot of things on the psychic realm, but I also help people. And I help people, well, is it me or is it the universe, the spirit that channels through and helps people to live with more confidence, connect to their own soul, their own divinity, their own everything, and gain strength and confidence and being their authentic self and happier and letting go of anger and toxicity and worry and it's everything. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Awesome. And you do it so well. Huh?
I said, is that enough?
That's enough. That's enough. Yeah, you do it so well. I've seen Alena for over a decade work with people one-on-one and doing just an amazing job.
It's amazing.
And she's very, very good working one-on-one with people. That's one of the reasons it's such a pleasure just to be collaborating with her on anything.
Same here, PJ. Same here.
So I want to welcome everybody who's joining us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and wherever else we are putting out the stream today. Welcome everyone, and of course the live streams on this channel are going to be usually on Wednesdays, and we're going to be putting up more and more content, including some amazing interviews that are coming up. Alena is doing some amazing interviews on her new podcast, which is going to be published soon. But you people who are addicted to YouTube are going to get even a better version of that. You want to talk about the new show?
Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh, guys, Mystical Muse. And it's an incredible show. It's even bigger than I thought it would be. And it's all about your spiritual journey. And so I bring on these incredible people who talk about their spiritual journeys. And everybody's different, but the things that you learn from these spiritual journeys and where people are in their spiritual journey and where they're looking to go it's so eye-opening. I'm finding it very eye-opening even for me. And I'm loving it that people are being so honest. You will learn incredible things. If you are on a spiritual journey, starting, middle, end, it doesn't matter. This will just blow your mind in so many cool ways. And and our first one, guys, because I'm a YouTuber too. I'm not a big podcast person. The idea is great. I just don't go on it. I'm a YouTuber. So we had to have this on YouTube. And so the first one we're putting out, PJ, aren't we putting out Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God? He just is one that communicates directly with God. He doesn't go by any other venue. He goes right to the source. And so it's very cool. And he's been around for a long time. That is a very powerful interview. Very powerful.
Yeah, that's an interesting interview. And I have not seen the entire thing, but I'm enjoying what I have seen. And that's going to be available really soon. And again,
we kind of disagreed on that interview a little bit,
You and he and
yeah,
you and he.
Little old Alena and big Neil Walsh, and it was just hey, you don't always have to all agree, right? But yeah, we had a little bit of a difference, and we were both very gracious about our differences. But I think he enjoyed the honesty, really.
Absolutely. And to some of you who are joining us new, oh, there goes I don't know. There's all kinds of technical difficulties today. So excuse my camera. Might be a temperature thing here. I'm not sure. But I will remain off camera for a while. It might be the temperature
Oh,
in the room.
that's
I forgot my chain of thought. To some of you guys who are joining us from other streams, it's a very spiritual channel that Alena has, and you will see it, like I said, on the intro and the stream earlier. If you're looking for woo woo, you have come to the right place. So,
cool.
all right.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just
I want to get our guests on because we've got an
yes.
incredible night tonight. I mean, meditation is such an interesting thing, and it's kind of the big thing now. You got your mindfulness, you got your Tao, you got your Buddhist, you got your shaman, you got all these different kinds of meditations, and finding what works for you is the best thing. And we've got some really cool people. Do you want to do the introductions, PJ?
Absolutely. First of all, we're going to introduce some of the people who are more regular to our community, and we are going to do ladies first from our immediate community. We have a reverend of the Buddhist priestess school of thought. And she is, many of you guys know her as Reverend Maria Shinzai. I think she is ready to go. So welcome to Maria. Good to see you, Maria. And thank you for joining us for the first time on this channel.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you.
Maria.
Good to see you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you on. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we've corresponded so much. This is our first time together like this.
It
Right?
is.
Yeah.
How
So
fun.
good to see you. Thank you. I'm melting. Yeah, I'm melting. It's hot.
Hot. I know it's
Yes.
hot here too.
Yes.
I know.
Go ahead, Elaine. You were going to say.
No, go ahead. I'm going to let you do the introductions. You're
So let me we have a young lady who's joining us and she has been traveling, so she is it's amazing that she's had time to make some time to join us, and it's a pleasure to finally meet Wendy Darling, and yes, that's her name, Wendy Darling. It's an awesome name. She's a speaker, author, relationship and transformational results expert. Welcome, Wendy. It's a pleasure for to meet you and have you join us. Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, thank
Oh,
you.
yay.
Wonderful, of course, to be with all of you.
I am so happy. Wendy and I have known each other for quite a while. I am so honored that she's on tonight.
Oh, you're sweet. Thanks. It's good. It's fun.
It is fun. Yeah. These lives are fun.
And we have, of course, a friend of the channel, the friend of the community. He is, of course, our friend Matt has the most unique visuals when we have him on as a guest. And so let's see if you can find him.
I always say it's like going to Where's Waldo on his channel.
You guys, of course, know he is a producer, and of his own content. He's a producer. I think he is a producer of Space Command as well. So I want to welcome, of course, Pranakasha, Matt, our good friend. Welcome, Matt.
Yay, Matt!
Didn't I tell you to never say "welcome, Matt" in that same sentence? Now somebody told me there was some woo-woo that's around here. Where's the woo-woo?
You just came in.
How so cool. Oh, so I guess we should get started, because I think that's what people want to hear. They want to hear about this meditation stuff. And I think, I'm going to pose a question that we can answer. Are you ready? What keeps people from meditating? What do you find?
Well, I can tell you what I get a lot, because that's the thing that comes up quite often for me. And it's always that, there's a few things. One, time. And two is that they can't quiet their mind. And it is very difficult to explain to them. that you don't have to. Because,
Right.
and I've said this often, but if you try to shut your mind down, you'll be dead.
Yeah.
Your mind is always processing and always going. And the thing that I keep encouraging people is that the fact that you know that your mind is not quiet is your part of learning meditation. So anyway, I don't want to go on. But
That's good.
that's a big thing.
Yeah. What about you, Wendy?
Well, I have to concur with what Maria just said. And even in my own journey, and we can get more into it when you would like, quieting the mind.
Yeah.
For me, do you want me to explain how I moved into? Okay. So quieting my mind was a complete oxymoron. And I had gone through a very traumatic time of a very serious accident 32 years ago that included my body. My right leg was completely shattered, multiple surgeries. We won't get into the details.
Oh, wow.
As well as losing custody of my son. I mean, my whole life imploded.
Yeah.
And my mom, of all people, suggested I might want to learn how to meditate. And as I said, quieting my mind was a complete oxymoron, but desperate times. So I thought, let me try this meditation stuff. And remember, this is over 30 years ago. And so I went to this person who was facilitating meditation, no specific way, no specific kind. And I remember going to Michael, the facilitator, and saying, you know, it's really odd. Every time I almost feel my mind's going to relax, I get this urge to sing. And he said, well, sing. And I started to laugh. I said, you don't understand. I actually have people in my life that request I not do that. and I'm sure his eyes kind of rolled. And he said, just see what happens. So I went back to my little spot in his house, and I got into that space, and I just allowed what was this melodic type of singing to come out of me. And for me, the first time, possibly ever, not only did my mind begin to relax, but so did my body. And this was also the beginning of my whole healing journey of receiving my healing gifts, my transformational system, the miraculous living method. But it was the sound healing that really allowed for the relaxation of my mind and body. Because prior to that, it was really tough. But this worked and does work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is so cool. And I've experienced some of that. It is very cool. It's very cool. I think your singing is wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it took a little while for me not to be self-conscious. There's still times that it's like, oh gosh, I'm singing in public. So,
yeah, but it's almost an ethereal. You know what I mean? It's totally. You can't.
It's not me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what comes through me, and it's a beautiful gift how I've been able to support people to get the results they want in so many ways. Easy, fast, simple. I like that.
I love that. I love easy, simple. I know. What about you, Matt?
Well, actually, I did. Most of the time, I don't do a whole lot of formal meditation anymore, but I did today. I sat out in my yard and did my thing.
Yeah.
And it was mostly sort of a yoga type of thing where I was just kind of feeling the energy going through my body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sort of today I was doing kind of a spontaneous, really deep breathing. So sort of classical yoga, pranayama type of stuff. But to tell you the truth, most of the time, I kind of take more of the Eckhart Tolle approach these days, where just throughout the day, I just drop right into my heart and just sit in the silence for a few moments and then pop back out again.
Yeah.
And because that, for me, that the heart, just the silence of the heart has kind of become my thing that I kind of ground myself in, even though my mind flies all the time.
Right.
It's like, I like to say it's kind of like your mind is like a kite. It's like a kite flying around up in the sky doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but it's connected to the piece of the heart through this kite string. And so it can never really fly away anymore. It just kind of does its thing.
I love it.
But there was a trick that I learned that worked really well for me back when it wasn't so easy to just sort of drop into the heart, which was instead of trying to make my thoughts go away, I would try to become aware of the space in which the thoughts exist.
Good.
And then that, of course, if you really get into it, the space in which anything exists, when you finally analyze it to the root, is the space of awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, the awareness that's everywhere. And so that's a really powerful way
I like that.
to really. And then if you can be aware of the awareness, then whether there's thoughts in your mind or not is totally irrelevant, because the mind is thoughts, and it's kind of silly to try to make the mind not think, because the mind was created to think.
Right.
So it just does what it does.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what brought me to more a shamanic. Well, when I first started, I went to meditation groups to start, and I wasn't a meditator. You know, I just wasn't before that. And so I decided and again, you hit that place in your life where everything is just not good and you're looking for something, you want to meditate. Well, I went to groups and with friends, and I just giggled. I could not quiet my mind, and I was disruptive. So, and I would try, and I would.
Oh, that was you back there?
That was me.
Ah, I was about to get up and go back there and slap you.
I know. I think doing like 20 more. But anyway, but then someone told me about the shamanic journeys, and that is just meditation with intention.
Okay.
Now that I could grab hold of, and I never looked back. I mean, now I can do any meditation. That's fine. But that having an intention and then just letting your mind quiet and let whatever comes, you know. And now I love them so much. Now I do guided meditations with people, because I started thinking, you know, those first few times that people try, it's hard. And even for a shamanic journey. So I started just doing guided meditations up to the point where I get you through the portal, they say, you know, because the shamanic journey is sacred. It really is, like any meditation. And it takes you to the portal, and then I let you go. And then you experience stuff, but it gets you to the theta state. It's a gift. I've not really figured out exactly. It's like Wendy, you're singing. It's like, I just know when everybody reaches that state, and then I can just let them go and they experience whatever they're supposed to experience at the time. And
it's sort of like the hypnotic state, so you're sort of hypnotizing them. Is anything like that?
I never thought of hypnotizing them, but that theta state is sort of a hypnotism in some ways. Yeah, sort of. I am. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting them, because I have them walk a circle. You know, they are going through the portal. So by the time they do that, it is kind of a hypnotic state. The way I count, everything is guided, and the way that those are just, the way it's all timed, it definitely reaches to a hypnotic state.
Yeah.
Can I add something to what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I think when you really do practice some form of meditation, you actually can reach a point where the mind is more malleable? It's more pliable. You can start working with it. So for example, 4 months ago on Valentine's Day, I got I had the opportunity of receiving a new hip. And so I prepared for surgery, first of all, all the different steps, doing my healing work, training my mind, what it was going to do, no pain. My recovery was practically seamless. I mean, I'm not going to try to pretend that there was a little owie. But the truth of the matter is, when we do this type of practice, we can train the mind to work for us. That's part of what the Miraculous Living Method, my process, does. So for example, you can use it in a variety of ways. Physically, it's a known fact now. There are people, and this is something I also incorporate, that heal their body of issues. You're able, like you're speaking to, Elena, that you can have an intention of, attracting clients, making more money, attracting the love of your life. There's so many different ways. And so the foundation, though, is practicing some sort of meditative practice. And then as you get more familiar and advanced, you can do so much good for yourself as well as others.
No, she is so on. I got a wisdom tooth out last Friday. Oh, I was so not happy.
Does that mean you're less wise than you were before?
I hope I'm more wise because the way I went through it. How's that?
I'll explain a few things. I've had all 4 of mine taken out.
Oh my God! Oh,
I had mine taken out too. That was a long time ago.
I know they.
You're just making room for more new, higher level wisdom. How's that?
Higher level teeth.
Yeah, higher level. Propagate. But the thing was with the meditation, and I knew I was going to do this. I actually just totally went. I was gone. I was on another level. I was totally gone. And before I knew it, it was gone. I mean, it was done. Right. And that's what it does for you. And the Buddhist monks, Maria, they talk about that. I remember the Buddhist monks say they were sitting, when they were in prison, when they were being persecuted, they would talk about how they just left the body. You can do that. It's incredible.
Yeah, there have been stories that you don't often hear about the things that they do through deep meditation. It does take a while, and that's why we have a lot of we do have a few monks that like to go to the prisons for people who have life sentences, and they're like, "Look, you can be here forever. Let's just make it go by quickly." And so they've been getting into meditation a lot because they will lose track of time completely. And it, instead of hours and hours, it feels like minutes. And so that's what we've had a few do for that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And then the stuff you're doing, Matt, I mean, that is like a Taoist almost, that being present. And that's another type. Well, let's raise this. We have the formal, I'm doing the shamanic hypnotism, transportation guided thing.
Alena, can you, before you raise that point, can I just do something real quick? Some bookkeeping real quick. I just want to say hello to everybody who's joining us. And those of you who are commenting, we know Dr. Omega is here. Good to see you, Dr. Omega. Thank you for joining us, Inspiration TV. And Captain Phantom Nerd. Good to see you, Cap. Very good to see you, my friend. And Angela, good to see you.
Phantom Nerd. I think I know who that is.
You do?
I believe so.
Ah.
We're going to find out.
Good to see you all. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Alena. Continue.
Can I address something? So I have done a little bit of guided meditation over the years. And like I've done some past life healing where I had a person that put me in a guided meditation and we went back to some past lives and healed some traumatic events. And that was super useful. And then the other really super effective type of guiding meditation I did was some inner child work.
Oh, yeah. I've done that.
I go to my sacred space and I hang out with my inner child and
love that.
Talk to them and let them. And that was super, super useful.
Yeah. Helps you get things so wonderfully. Doesn't it? That's wonderful work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done that with clients. Yeah. I've done it with myself, right? We all do that with ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. That is cool. My question is, with all these meditations that we do, one thing I do believe for those who are just starting or even later, meditation can be just walking in the woods and getting your mind quiet. And it's amazing. If you haven't tried meditating out in nature, it's like the animals know that you are meditating. It's like, and one time I was in Little River Wetlands, and I'm like meditating by the pond, and I see this little teeny weeny grasshopper looking out like this to me with a
Yeah.
blade of grass. He's watching me. And before I knew it, I had all these grasshoppers around me. They like just knew that I was meditating. I've had many experiences like that. And I don't know. I think the value of being out in nature and just even just looking at the tree and feeling the energy of the tree, or walking and listening to the symphony of all the different sounds. Wendy, you're nodding like crazy. I know you've experienced this. You're very much with that. I mean, have you had the experiences like I have?
I can't say like you have, but
Well,
I think I almost live in a quasi meditative state at this point. People
Yeah.
say I'm highly laid back. So I live from a very calm place. And similar to what you're speaking of, Matt, I lead more with my heart, and my mind supports that.
yeah.
And so I just think it's a true gift. And by the way, if I can just add, one of the things, because my schedule got a little disrupted this year with a little timeout, I started offering customized meditations. So
Nice.
yeah, so people will just have a little session with me. I find out what it is that they're wanting to create, and I create a script. I record it with my sound healing. I give them a few of my transformational cards. And so now, not only are they getting in a meditative state, but they're being programmed to create that which they really want to be experiencing. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I've
Thanks.
experienced that before. That's a very cool thing too. It can help. It builds a confidence in you. It can build, it retrains your subconscious mind, basically.
Yep.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
as you know, that's part of my process, is retraining the mind. So doing this, and that's new. I've not ever offered anything like this before.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, but I like customizing things. So
I do too.
we'll see.
Maria, you've been doing well, you're a Zen priestess basically. So when do you find, okay, this meditation. So, okay, we all see, and I live in the yoga world or not, and I love yoga. I loved yoga before yoga was even fashionable to love. And yoga, you see the person who goes and does this, and then they go out and they're totally chaotic and hectic, right? Ah, let's, but when you really do practice meditation, whatever it is, then what do you find, Maria? How has it changed your life?
Well, there's so many aspects to that, because, well, okay, I'm back up a little bit. One of the things that I have trouble with people wanting to continue the meditation is because they're looking for something more along the lines of what Wendy does and what Matt and you're kind of looking for. I have to tell them the type of meditation I do is more is easy but difficult. And what I mean by that, it is easy to show you how to sit properly, how to align yourself, how to breathe, and everything like that. But the problem with that people tend to have is that our bodies are not used to just being still. And so it becomes difficult. And it is a physical thing too. It can be excruciatingly painful after a while, but learn to get past it. But the thing of it is that what I've learned and what I want others to have from it is all of the benefits that come from it. You do get the healing process of it. So I haven't had as many fibromyalgia flare-ups as I used to. I used to have so many per week, and they were so bad that I couldn't even move. Now I have not had that. My migraines are not as bad as they used to be. I used to get migraines 3 times a week. Now I get them once in a while.
Good.
But also, it helped the, kind of, you have to sit with yourself for a while. You have to learn a lot about yourself. And you go through a lot of different feelings. And one thing I tell people is, when you come meditate with me, it's not going to be all flowers and lambs. You're not going to get up and be like, oh, I feel great. You may get up and you may be upset. You may get up and you may be crying. You may get up and you may laugh. Because you have your own human emotions and feelings that are coming through. Even though you sit there and you're not intending on focusing on any thought, what you do is observe, acknowledge, and you let it pass.
Yes.
I'm aware that I'm having this thought. Did I leave the stove on? Why is my cat trying to climb my back? Just lots of things, your daily life going on, but you just kind of let it pass. And the technique I always teach people is to count when they're first starting. That's how you do it. When Matt brought that up, I was going to say that is when people are having a hard time. I used to, when I first started, have to count to 10, and you never get to 10. You never get to 10. You get to like 4 and you realize your mind's somewhere else. You come back and start over. You start over and you start over. But it's so much going on at that time. So you're learning about yourself, you're healing, you are learning how to process your problems, to learn to get through them a little bit better, because you're still going to have them. People assume that when you meditate, you're going to just live, frolic through the street and throw flowers at everybody because you're, it's not reality. You're going to be dealing with problems. But one thing that meditation does for people is it helps you process the questions that you have. How do I get through this? It helps you deal with your pain, face your pain. And that's the hardest part about meditation, I think, for me, was having to acknowledge some of my pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say, I'm going to add to that. So, I mean, for years, I thought meditation for me was going to be the cure all for everything. But in a way, it just sort of shines a light on everything, because you start clearing out all the smoke in your mind, and you start seeing things more clearly. But like for me, the thing I really needed to do besides meditation, even way more than meditation, is I needed to go do some therapy, because I just had some basic childhood issues, with my family, and just growing up as a kid.
Who doesn't?
In the type of family I was in, that I never truly dealt with. I tried to, because what can happen once you start getting successful with meditation, you can start to consistently create kind of a natural high.
Yes.
And it can become just total escapism, and it's basically the same thing as doing drugs.
Yep.
You can find ways to go off and run away from all your problems, because you can just go off in la la land, and ultimately that's not good. What you really have to do is come back and deal with what's happening in your life, and just some basic stuff.
It's supposed to aid you. It's not supposed to be a new pot, know.
But I have to say that could be a possibility. But the other possibility is you also may become very present.
Yes.
What's going on in your life in this moment.
Right.
And the other thing, in my opinion, is everybody has different experiences. Some people lean into this and it becomes very natural for them. Other people find, had it not been for my sound healing, I don't know what my journey would have been. But that was for me. And so I think that's the important thing also, is to kind of, some people, like you were saying, Maria, count. Some people I remember when I first started, when my eyes were closed, I'd pretend I was looking at my nose and I would breathe. So I think it's a very, so there's some trial and error. You know, when I was in graduate school, my thesis was do what works. And I really, you know, instead of honing in on one philosophy of psychology, but I think that meditation's somewhat similar. And to be kind with yourself and experiment, you know, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, how you sit, how you don't sit, when you meditate, when you don't.
And I think you have to understand, everyone out there, and I'm right with you, Wendy. It is as unique, the meditation is as unique to you as your own spiritual journey or your own life on this earth. It is really that unique. I mean, I had to find my own way. I tried it all different ways. And then when I found what clicked, oh my gosh, it was like heaven. But oh my God, Alena, you have Wendy Darling on the panel. Of course I do. I love Wendy. But I do think with the meditation, how it has helped me so much is that, well, quite frankly, guys, you do end up being calmer and you do understand that you don't have to be a drama queen. That's what it is. And I really think, you know, it's like, for an example, I'm moving. That in itself is a traumatic experience. And so I'm moving. But then I fell. I was packing up the garage and I fell. Really weird, quirky, stupid accident where I not paralyzed, but sprained. There's a drama queen. On my knee, 2 places in my leg, and my left hand. I could not leverage. Everything on the left side was now sprained. And I was angry at first. And then the only thing I could do is lay in my bed because I could roll off of it. And then on top of that, then my dog started to go into a horrible thing where his heart was going at 200 and he was passing before my eyes. So I'm trying to get my son and I can't walk. So I'm hopping down the stairs on my butt to get him to help me get the dog in the car so we can go to emergency. Now, how does meditation help you in that situation? In the old days, I'd be like, me, drama, right? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh, are you crazy? Now the dog, oh my God. And I'd be going through the roof in my little Italian way. But it changes. It wasn't about me all of a sudden. And it was just situations I had to deal with. What was the best way to accomplish this and just do it smoothly? There was no drama. There was no blaming. There was no arguments. We worked very well together, my son and I, and we got our dog there. And luckily he's home now and he's my big baby. So all of this is what meditation can do, and therapy. It can help you to live in a life where you are not creating the drama. What a relief.
Yeah, what I like about what you're saying, Alena, is I believe meditation, just like what you were saying, Maria, life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. But when you have a meditation practice, when life happens, you can redirect yourself very easily and gently so that, just like what you're saying, you are very present. It's like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And, you know, and so that's a real advantage. I can't even remember the last time I got really, you know, my pantyhose got twisted. Not that I wear pantyhose any longer, but
panties in a twist.
Yeah. I'm sure it could happen. I don't want to test the waters, but
No.
but it's true. You know, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I've had things that I could have gotten twisted over easily. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
But I want to just emphasize that your point is it allows you to live more in a fluid way of living,
right,
as opposed to a more rigid, strategic way,
And
in my
drama-filled
experience.
and hard road, just a
Yeah.
hard road.
I have a question, if I
Go
may.
for it.
And I don't want to deviate from meditation. Forgive my camera is definitely not working. I try to turn it on, it just turns off again. Why do you? And I want to ask all of you this: why do humans have that need for drama? That need for why that Schadenfreude, where we take pleasure in other people's pain or
Great.
drama or scandal or unfortune or misfortune? Why is it there a human need for focusing on that?
Well, because if we didn't have that, it would be the most boring 3D video game ever. You need some drama so that the game will be fun.
You know, I
Thanks.
focus a lot on working with the mind. You know, the gift, I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I also had a brain injury as a result of that accident. And so I became fascinated with how the mind works. And I think, PJ, what happens a lot of times is from early childhood programming, our brains just go in all different directions. And depending on your conditioning, it's a lot easier to point the finger at you than me take responsibility. And so most of us were not trained or educated in any way how to be more conscious, how to be more responsible. I mean, there probably are children today that are learning it at an early age, but you know, I'm 72. I certainly did not, have any of that.
No, yeah, and I do think, and also drama is what, we were raised with, but it's also pushed. You know, we get dramas everywhere we turn, and I do think it's to solve. A lot of people think it's for solving boredom. I see it here in Indiana with a lot of people who work in factories. They create incredible dramas because they are incredibly bored. And so they live by the dramas. I think it is a very sad state, and we're seeing it play out. This love of drama, we're seeing it play out in the worst scenario nowadays. People are tired. I think they're getting to the point where they want another way. They can't keep up with the drama. I think we are at our max with drama now. And I think people like this meditation and starting to find peace in your life. Is having a peaceful life boring? I certainly don't think so at all. I think I like when my days flow. I like when I don't have drama. I like that nobody is fighting all the time or secrets being told. I like the peace. But I do have, go ahead. Who wants to? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Go, Maria.
Okay. Oh, I was just going to add to my theory on some of that, and I'm no doctor or anything, but I tend to think that some of the drama occurs, and well, like PJ was saying, is why do people like to? Why did they get pleasure out of other people's misery? I think for me, what I see is that it's kind of like. It's almost as if they're relieved. The attention is off of them for their failures, for their insecurities, for their, they want the focus off themselves. So if they can laugh at someone else, it's almost like they all can gang up and make this person the focus, so you don't have to see what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I so agree. All right, here's one that's interesting. And I think Dr. Omega brought it up. I told him I was going to bring this up. So what do you think about goat yoga, beer yoga? I met the lady who does goat yoga. I am so not kidding. She does it on her farm in, guess where, folks? Indiana. I can't believe I met her. Anyway, goat yoga, beer yoga. Those are the only two I can think of. What do you think about that little fad?
Well, I'm into internet shirt yoga, so I can't really talk.
What did you say? What now? What?
Internet shirt yoga. So like there's a sign right back there that proves it.
What is
Can you
it?
tell us more about the goat yoga?
Yeah, let's hear the goat yoga.
Alena?
Goat yoga. Okay, so what is goat yoga? I actually saw it. Oh my God. Well, they do goat yoga and goat meditation. Okay. So when they do their yoga, the goats are wandering through. They come and sit with you. They lie with you. They jump over you. And
They'll
then
jump on you.
and they jump on you. And when you're
Wow.
meditating, and
And they try to eat your asana.
they try to eat everything, your hair. They try to eat your hair. And so when you're doing meditation, they are with you. And I think the feeling is, I don't know why it started. I don't know why. Maybe it's, I think they think it's a more of a spiritual experience of bringing in the animals. What I mean, okay, whatever floats your boat, but for me, I could do without. And I don't understand the beer meditation yoga stuff either.
Never heard of that.
You know, there's a fad in Texas. Have you ever heard of fire ant yoga?
Huh.
You do your yoga in your backyard, and the fire ants start attacking you, and then you use that as a way to,
Come on.
it encourages you to go towards enlightenment a little faster.
That's funny, Matt.
Oh my God, Matt. Oh my Lord. I think
100% true.
isn't it funny? Oh, I can't believe
I did it. I was standing out in my friend's backyard,
Oh no.
and I wasn't from Texas, so I didn't know that you don't stand out in somebody's yard with sandals on because the fire ants will attack you. But I soon learned not to do that.
See, oh, Dr. Omega says, I kind of do the same thing, except it's with Pomeranians and it's not yoga. I just on my day job at my desk. Okay. And he has his Pomeranians. Okay. Well, at least the Pomeranians aren't eating your hair. I think that's a good thing. And
Okay.
if you want your Pomeranian, lots of times when I meditate, I'll have my dogs around me and my cat. They all sit. Everybody knows as soon as I start the drum, everybody finds their places and they just sit. It's really cute, actually. It really is.
My cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Your
Oh,
cat
okay.
too. They love it.
Yeah. They
Okay,
do actually.
We have to address what yoga is. So
Go for it.
according to Patanjali, yoga is the stilling of the thought waves of the mind. So from that point of view, anything that gets you to that space could be called yoga.
Yeah. I always learned way back when that yoga was a way of stilling the mind, but it was also a presentation to the gods or goddesses, and like the sun god. That's why you've got the sun god move you, and everything is to move the energy through you to loosen up the places that are the blocks, which are the places that are resistant, and then to have the chi, the energy, move through you. Yeah.
Shakti.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the like what we always, when we say yoga, most of the time we're talking about hatha yoga, which is all the postures and the breathing exercises and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And those, like you said, they're designed to basically open up the channels in your physical body and your spiritual body so the energy can flow. And then the chakras can be purified. And so all the blocks can be removed. And then that calms your mind and makes it easier to get into higher levels of consciousness and all this stuff. But in the end, the ultimate goal really is just to find the silence.
Yes.
And the crazy thing is the silence is all around us at all times. Like I think Maria probably knows this one. I mean, there's sort of a Zen practice where you can be in a city and there's all this noise blaring around you, but you can hear the silence in that noise if you become aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
So ultimately, it's always, even though there's all these really fantastic things that we can experience, in the end, what we get down to is the foundation of the universe, which again is awareness, peace, and love. Right? Yeah.
Unconditional love. Yep. That's what it's all about. And that's what you find. I mean,
Yeah.
and it does give you more tolerance for people. It does,
Yeah.
because you start to understand. I think, well, yoga and meditation, and definitely with the shamanic, because of the sacredness with the drum itself and the connection, the heartbeat of the universe. I mean, you start to understand how we are all one, and you really start to understand, it is about tolerance and love for each other. It
Yeah.
really
More tolerance? Is that why you say you meditate before calling me?
I wouldn't call it tolerance, though. I
I'm
wouldn't go
figuring things
there.
out. I'm finally figuring things out. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is not tolerance. Well, I say tolerance because
Yeah.
that's a good entry level for so many people.
Okay.
It's gaining a higher understanding. That's what it is.
Okay.
When you have a higher understanding, then having love for others is so easy, because
Right.
you don't you're not in that judgment zone, right?
Right.
You're not.
Well,
It's
like what I like to say is, again, if you really start to create a relationship with the silence, it's like I like to say it, then, and you start really getting comfortable with the silence, then soon you experience peace. Then out of the peace comes love. And then you would think that life would become really boring, but the opposite happens, because then out of that comes this sense of amazement.
yeah.
And then you can start and look around at anything and start to become amazed. And you suddenly realize, well, this creation, this 3D video game, if you want to call it that I'm living in, is really amazing.
Yeah.
And anything in it can be absolutely fascinating.
Well, I think a lot of
Yeah.
times people are kind of living in them, like in that aspect. Like if you are in a boat and you're in the ocean and you see an iceberg and you see it on the top of the water, and that's all you see. But you don't even think about the fact that there is this huge thing below it, inside the water.
Right.
That if you actually saw it, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's actually bigger than what I'm seeing, than what it is." And that's how
Right.
we are. We're only seeing a small portion of this in our everyday life, because we don't know how to quiet ourselves enough to process things. So we're only seeing ourselves in a on a certain scale, but we are bigger than that. We are more than that. We are just one of the waves in the huge ocean. You are the whole ocean, and you
Right.
don't realize it.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, he's making an appearance.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
it is.
I think Rumi, I was thinking
What's-
another, I think Rumi's the one who said, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in a drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people and it's true. It really is true. You
And
find-
there was another one that I think also is from Rumi, where he says, like, a person on the earth is like a beggar who's sitting on a treasure chest their whole life, begging for scraps of food from everyone around, and they never realize that they're sitting on a treasure chest full of gold.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the average person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. And you do miss that pot of gold.
Yeah.
I do think when we meditate, we see. I've had some people. I had one person who was doing the guided shamanic, and she really saw how truly big she truly is.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that energy, and it changed her life.
Yeah.
Once we understand who we truly are, I think it changes everything in our life. We don't have to be concerned with small things. We start to see the wonder in every single thing on this earth. And this world is a miraculous place. It's a world of creation. It's always creating. Isn't that incredible? Everything. And right now is a fantastic time to live, because how this could end up could be magnificent. We don't know. We wanted to be here now, and here we are. And I hear so many people so upset and angry, but this is an incredible time. And
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's tons of transformation going on right now, and there's so much upheaval that it can be overwhelming. but then again, there's a lot of really tuned in people,
Yeah.
you know, that are some of them are real movers and shakers. Other ones are real healing type. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's tons of opportunity for stuff going on right now.
I've
I
seen
just,
that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Wendy.
yeah, I just read something just this morning, and I don't remember where it was, but it was addressing kind of what we're talking about and what you're also saying, Matt, is that for many of us who have been on this path, who have certain skills, gifts, abilities, we are really being called to just spread that with
Yeah.
as many people as possible, because the world not only needs it, but the good news for more and more, they're ready.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seems like the time now. Now's the time. Yeah.
It's just starting. People are
Yeah.
getting sick of the drama. They say they're tired. They're looking for something better.
Yeah.
And they know there's something better. And
Mhm.
and it is for us to be there and to share what we know. I
Mhm.
think we all are the light, and we're helping people to understand the light. And that's how I think of it. And when you raise that consciousness, it will change the world. And there's a lot of people starting to truly
Mhm.
to something bigger than themselves, and that they don't have to be one extreme or the other anymore. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, it's a very special time with I think with all the incredible meditation. I do think that people, how, I think you have to just get out there and try, guys. I don't think any one meditation is perfect for everyone. I mean, I love Maria like crazy. However, if I tried with hers at first, I would have giggled.
Then you could invent a giggle meditation.
I would
Actually,
have invented
well,
a giggle meditation. It would have
there
been
you go. I mean, so if you wanted to describe what meditation is, or like these flashes, when we get flashes of insight, or uh, flashes of great love or great bliss, it's kind of like the moment when you laugh, when you hear a joke and you laugh. When you're laughing, it's kind of a meditation, because your brain stops for a second and you're filled with joy,
Yeah.
right? Out of something that surprised you.
Yeah.
And
Or when you're with friends, and I mean true friends, and you're
yeah.
just out having fun, and you're very, very present, and you're just with them and you're listening. That is a form of meditation. That is being present in life. And
Right.
it's so much fun, and you never want those moments to end. Well, of course you don't.
I
That's
have a
what we're supposed to
Yeah.
question.
Or if you're a musician, you know what it's like when you're really really in it, or if you're a great if you're doing sports and you're in the zone, you know.
Matt, that's true. When I was in high school, I didn't do pot or anything. I mean, there were only 3 of us who didn't do any drugs at all.
Out of the
My
whole
whole
school.
school.
Unfortunately, I can't be part of that crowd.
And that's
I
all.
smoked some pot. Yeah, I did.
Well, I didn't, and I mean, and they were always, and I had a crush on the pusher. That really didn't work out well. And so anyway, Wendy, there you go. There's my history of relationships. But anyway, so then but here's the thing. I found that it was because of the music.
Mhm.
And the music, I would put that on and it would give me the most fantastic high.
Mhm.
And that's why I fell in love with music. And you're present and you are high on it, and it's moving you in so many ways, every vibration of your body. I mean, who needs pot? I was there, and
Yeah.
and it was legal. I could use it anywhere I wanted.
You know,
Seriously.
Yeah.
the other thing too that we really haven't spoken about yet is, yes, it calms the mind. It allows you to get more in your heart. But the good news also is that's where you can also receive guidance.
Yes.
That's when you get, and that's another thing that's very personal. Some people do hear guidance. I am not one of those. Every now and then I get lucky. I've asked, just talk to me. Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Some people will feel it. That's more me. I'm
That's
more
me
of a
too.
feeler and a knower.
Yeah.
I will sometimes get little nudges, kind of like when I was looking at I got a nudge that I was going to move. I'm like, really? And so the beauty of meditation is it opens up to get those gentle nudges, or so, and to get, oh, I need to do this. We usually don't get a blueprint, steps 1 through 30, but we will get a sense of 1 or 2. And then when you take that step 1 or 2, then momentum starts building, and it's a beautiful place to live. To realize there is a force higher, bigger, greater, however you want to look at that works with you, through you, to allow you to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be.
It's so true. The shamanic journey takes you up. When you go through that portal, you do meet whoever you're supposed to meet and get that guidance. And that world is so, I have seen it help heal. I have seen it truly heal. Some people come to me afterwards and say, that was the most incredible healing experience I've ever seen. Others meet powerful spirits that are guiding them on their journey. And it does open you, because if you are all of a sudden understanding that the universe is there rooting you on and helping you in your journey, you start to understand and see how it's speaking to you on this plane in all different ways. Like Wendy, you said, like when I was finding my house, and every sign from the dream they gave me at night to the feeling I was going to have in that house, to the transformational, wonderful turkey vultures, to the sky pointing to the cardinals that are my mom at the house. All the signs were there. It was like, it was a map, but if I didn't understand my universal world and how that guide is so strong in our lives, then I don't even think I would have noticed those signs. I would have just been oblivious, complaining that these birds are on my car. And
Did any of them leave some presents?
I'm sorry?
Did any bird presents on your car?
No.
They always dive bomb. The crows always dive bomb my car.
Do they? They're trying to get your attention, my dear.
Yeah. And I feed them. They're friends with me. I feed them all the time, and it's still. If they feel like I'm ignoring them, then splat.
What you were talking about, Alena, is really important, because I mentioned, so a year ago, January, the man who I had been in a long-term relationship, we had a very open, honest, beautiful conversation. And shall we say, we redefined our relationship, and I was going to need to move. And I'm not going to give you the whole story, but right when I started to look for a new place to live, I got that initial nudge. And it was like, what's that? Now, the reason I bring this up is I probably had a whole lot of nudges 32 years ago that ultimately had me pass out, fall over a ledge, and fall out 25 feet.
Wow.
So I personally pay attention to nudges, I can assure you that. Yeah. But it's also a really good reminder for anyone to, pay attention when something feels right. That's what I call a green light. Go for it.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't feel right, stop. It may be, truly don't, or it could be what I consider a yellow light, that it's, you're just not sure. You kind of go back and forth, and it becomes a red light. Maybe you need more time, more information, but it's so important to pay attention to those early niggles, however you might receive it.
Yeah, it's getting in touch with your intuition, which is one of the biggest ways that they tell. When I walk into a room, my intuition will tell me exactly how to read that room. And if it's a room that is not meant for me, my intuition will come up. And do I leave and hide? No, my intuition isn't that strong, but it tells me stop and adjust. And then I can walk forward. This is not going to be an easy one. You gotta think a little bit more here, Alena. And then I walk in. That's your intuition. Your intuition is a godsend. It's what's going to tell you not to go around that corner because that's a dangerous place. It's your intuition. That's one thing that I think has been downplayed so much in our society when I was growing up, and even actually made fun of. And yet it's one of the biggest way that our soul and all of the universe lets us know things. And it was, oh, that silly women's intuition. And where's the logic that backs that up? I used to hear this as a kid, and I really don't understand why that started. I do think it was, I went to a Catholic school, so it was even worse. I really think it was to not trust yourself so much and to trust only outside what people were telling you.
Well, especially in a religious environment. I guess I should be very careful what I say right now. But in certain environments, they do try to influence you and to shape you. I mean, parents unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, but more times than not, unintentionally do things in a way that wasn't maybe so healthy for many of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And by the way, you mentioned entering a room and, pausing. But also when I enter a room, I kind of sense where maybe I should sit. A couple of weeks ago, I was at a conference with about 2,000 people. And my intention was I'd love to meet some new people. If I could meet anybody in my own backyard, that would be lovely because I'm still very new. I thought, and I said, if I could get a client or two, that could be nice. Right. And I want you to know, I got there early, put my bag down in a certain place, left to get a cup of coffee, came back in. I want you to know at that conference, I have 2 women were sitting behind me. They were both from Sarasota. And one became a client, and I met 2 more people.
Yeah.
I really literally bumped into this person who also lived in Sarasota. So, there again, and the woman that became my client, she said that they were sitting someplace else and it just didn't feel right. And they moved to where they were sitting behind me. Yeah. So I love that kind of stuff.
We don't think anything's working in our lives.
Everything's working in our
lives. Everything is. We just have to open to it. I think meditation is a very good start. But I do think if you were going to say, okay, so if you were going to say, let's start, I always start people with a walk in nature and opening up to that. One time I'll share this quick story. It's a cool one. It was winter. And I usually try to avoid the cold like the plague, but I did go out. I like to walk when the snow first falls. And I went to a favorite park of mine, and I sat on this bridge with this pond, and the ice was over it. And I just stood there very quiet and listened. And I heard the crack of the water, a bird would chirp, this would happen over here. And then, oh my gosh, it was almost like syncopation. It was almost like music. And I called it my symphony. And I would just sit there and listen to this beautiful symphony that nature was making for me. Mm-hmm. That is a wonderful way to start your meditation right there. I highly advise that. What do you guys say for first starting your meditation? I see I'm sitting on this one.
Well,
come on.
Of course, I mean, there's the classic one is if you're doing a yoga type of meditation, usually you have a mantra, so you might or you just say Om. Or
I love that.
Or just watching your breath.
I love it because it vibrates.
Yeah.
You know, there is research that shows that that humming actually increases nitric oxide.
Sure.
Well,
Very interesting.
so you know what? Okay. At least from my experience, once I was able to find the silence in the heart, then after the peace and the love came, then there was the feeling of a sound, which was kind of like this. It's kind of like,
Yes.
but it wasn't the actual sound, it was the feeling of the sound.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what Om is actually.
Like
Is
the
that feeling.
vibration that's
Yeah.
that it's causing in your body, that frequency.
You know,
It's not a physical sound though, it's the feeling of the sound.
Oh, okay. I see.
it's the feeling. Do you know
yeah.
what you tapped into? The shamans will say that is the universal heartbeat.
Right, and I think that's Om. I think that's the Om that they talk about in the Upanishads. That's what I really think it is.
That's what the drum is mimicking, and if you go into nature, if you really get quiet, I now hear that universal heartbeat in nature. I hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
You'll start to feel it everywhere if you allow yourself. It's incredible. It's everything. You understand total connection. You understand it's not just the world. We're not all one. We are one humongous, incredible universe of one.
Right, and the thing is like when you start talking about love like this, it's not just a concept, and it's not just a happy feeling. It's like a deep. It's like the foundation of the universe, and it's unending. It's like it's infinite. So the only thing that limits how much of this love that you can feel is basically how much you can handle.
Yeah.
So at least for me, it just grows and grows each day. I feel it stronger. I'm like, nowadays, when I see people, I can't help it. I have to hug them. I can't not hug them. And I'm like, I hug them and then I tell them I love you. And then I have to explain immediately. I'd say this to everyone, so don't take it the wrong way. And I can't help it. I just feel so strongly in me that I just somehow have to express it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's wonderful. I think that's what we need in this world, more of that. It does. It does. It helps you to see a new way into everyone. And it's just a whole different, it's a totally different way of living.
It's really something.
Yeah.
So it's
There's a question, if you don't mind, that I want to ask the panel before we wrap up. I do want to ask all of you if there was, and we can start with Wendy, for example. I want to ask all of you if there were, and forgive me because I've been doing behind the scenes production stuff, if you guys have touched upon this, but I want to ask you if either of you have had a meditative practicing experience as children or as adolescents, and what did that look like at that time in your life?
Oh, absolutely not.
I love it, Wendy. Yeah.
Not even close. I mean, my first experience of I can remember at some point learning that my mom got trained in transcendental meditation at some point, which is kind of, if you knew her, that was kind of interesting too. But nope. Not until how old was I when I had my accident? That was in 1990. I was born in 51. So if you want to do the math, that's how old I was. 39 maybe?
Oh, you were younger
40,
than
40? I don't know.
My
My brain's not there. So I'm going to say, nope, not until I was an adult, a grown up person. Oh, well, in numbers. I've never really grown up, so that's okay.
No.
Okay.
It's no fun. No fun.
PJ, I would also say no. However, now when I look back, I can remember even when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, nobody really trained me how to pray. I don't think. I just assumed that everybody prayed when they went to bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't kneel down. I would just pray. But when I did, I never thought of God as like this scary being or somebody sitting on a throne or whatever. I always just thought of God as just my friend who would help me not have bad dreams. So I'd always pray to not have bad dreams. There was always I always approached
Than a cute.
that as a friend. And then what I realize now is that feeling of friendship is the exact thing that I'm talking about now. You know, so I guess I really was kind of meditating, even though I didn't know it. You know,
Yeah.
and it's so simple. The crazy thing is, it's so simple, but it's so profound too. And then you also realize, wow, this experience is really has been with me the whole time.
That's cool.
And I sort of flirted with it, but it's kind of like the guy that was sitting on the treasure chest of gold and never really noticed. It's
Yes.
always right there. It's so close to you, and that's what's so crazy about human beings. Like, we complain about how bad our life is and how terrible everything is. We don't realize how close we are to peace and love. It's like right there,
It's right there.
and we just somehow we can't figure out how to access it until we finally do some meditation, and then we're like, oh, it was there all the time.
Absolutely. And what about you, Maria, and then Alena?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize for my cat
Oh,
taking over. Sorry, guys. Well, for me, actually, I actually think we all have experienced it, but we didn't know it. And the reason I say that is because when you're younger, you don't you tend to be more aware already. As we're young and we're learning, our mind doesn't become chaotic until we become adults. So as a young person, you're already kind of there in that state.
yeah.
And so I think that we all kind of experience it when we're young anyway, you just don't realize it. But I actually have to say that that I when I go back and I think about it, I actually did a lot of meditation, but I didn't know that it was meditation. I didn't know it was called that. I'd never studied it. I didn't know it because and I won't get into specifics, but when I would get punished, sometimes I would get sent to go to your room, go to the basement, whatever, and the light would be off, and I was always scared of the dark, and so I would close my eyes because I figured if my eyes are closed, I'm not going to know if it's dark or not, right? I'm like, the lights are on, really, they are, but I remember being, 5 and 6 years old, just sitting there still as I could and just closing my eyes and just breathing just to get through that. And that's what meditation is breathing. And that's what I did. So I've always been kind of I guess, I don't know what to say, peaceful person, but a pretty mellow person. And I think it's because I've used that my entire life is that's where I felt balanced. And I like my alone time anyway, sometimes to be away from people because I tend to kind of get really tired being around so much energy of people. So I spend a lot of time in a meditative state for balance. But yeah, I think we just don't realize that we already are doing that as kids.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Alena?
If I could just add something to that. I think a lot of children maybe are able to experience that, but I will speak from my experience that I lived in a very abusive, chaotic environment. So maybe I experienced it, but I don't think so. It was not a peaceful place at all. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is there may be people that are listening right now that did not have the luxury, even with your knowledge and ability to find peace when you were sent away. It was, you somehow found that. So I just wanted to bring that up because there are a lot of people, me included, that suffered from a lot of abuse.
And that's a good point, because sometimes if you're in survival mode, you're unable to channel that and
Well, your
to do that.
brain's going crazy, you know.
But the
But it
point
could
that
be
I
the-
also want to add to that, and I'm certainly living proof, and lots of other people, just because that happened doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
Right.
Like,
And I'll be honest with you, and I don't often share this, but mine was in a sense like yours, and that is what I had to do, like PJ said, for survival.
yeah,
Is I had to, or I would have gone insane.
right.
It started at such a young age and throughout many years, and that was the only way I could survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I was conscious of that. I think I escaped in some way, but I certainly wouldn't have called it meditation. But I
No.
think it's lovely that you
You didn't
found.
like those words, you know.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Actually, I did a thing too. I would kind of actually there was a thing. It was sort of kind of a meditation. I would just go into these really intense daydreams.
That's a
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah. I mean, so much like I would put my hands together and I would kind of walk around, and even almost look like I was autistic or something. I'd be going in my daydreams. So I guess I was kind of a meditation.
Yeah, yeah.
It's called The Thing. My parents couldn't always, and I would try to learn how to do it in another room so nobody could see me do it. But then people would catch me, you know, when I'm doing my thing. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of times it was thinking about Star Trek.
Thank you all for
Oh,
sharing. Thank
boy.
you guys all for sharing that. Really, you guys
Uh-huh.
are awesome for sharing everything.
It is
And
wonderful. It is.
go
wonderful.
ahead, Elaine. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
I wanted to hear your answer.
Well, I don't remember meditation per se. I used to I daydreamed a lot, was always in trouble for that. And then I also loved to just sit in the grass and look up at the clouds. And that was my meditation. I would just sit there, and I didn't think it was meditating then. And I would just watch the sky. I found that incredibly fascinating.
That's what I
And
would do.
that was a kind, well, it's freedom, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it, and I just,
Kind of like this.
Something like that.
that's why I love that, right?
I'm going
That's
to get
from
that view
above.
tomorrow. I'll be
Yeah.
on 2 different airplanes heading back home.
Oh
I
wow.
would love to fly.
And by the way, I apologize, but I have people that have been waiting for me, and I'm going to need
go.
to go.
Yeah. Oh, Wendy, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you,
Thank
Wendy.
you to meet you, Wendy.
And I
And-
wish everyone a wonderful meditation time, you know, and good luck on your safe trips too, Wendy.
Thanks. And by the way, if anybody is interested in reaching out to me, I think you posted it, wendydarling.com. I'm happy to have a little chat. Oh, there it is.
Yes, please
Aren't
check
you
that
Wendy?
out, guys.
Follow
And
Wendy.
actually, Winnie, before you leave, real quick, I am just
Yes.
going to put. Just going to show. This is Wendy's website. Make sure you guys check her out. It looks great. The website looks great.
Yeah. Look at that
Oh.
gorgeous girl.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh, but I love it. I love it.
Holding up.
Thank you so
Fabulous.
much,
But
Wendy. It
thank
was
you
an honor.
so much. What a beautiful topic to be talking about.
Mhm.
Such an important one. And as we saw just through our conversation, even though we were talking about meditation, it just opens up so much.
Mhm.
And it's very rich. So thank you all. And I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank
Namaste.
Take
you.
care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, and so everyone, I'll tell you, I think that we have all been really versed now in meditation. I think that people out there, I don't know, true love is a primordial force. Yes, it is. I mean, I think it's
Yep.
time for us to let them free
Exactly.
to meditate. If you guys have questions, ask now, because we're setting you up in this wonderful meditation world. If you're not meditating, start slow, find your mojo, your groove in it, and go for it. There is no wrong way. There are so many ways to meditate, and there's so much to gain by starting. And just that peace at first is the best thing in the whole wide world. That minute of time stopping is worth everything that you get in that beginning. So
Yeah.
find your little way of doing it and go for it. That's what I say.
Mhm.
And if I may address a comment / question that Dr. Omega put up before, yes, Vulcans always meditate. Mr. Spock meditated, and if Vulcans do not meditate, they have a little trouble controlling their emotions. Actually, so they
Wait,
always
Yeah.
meditate
they
every
do
night.
this?
Yeah.
Is that a
Well,
Yep. Spock meditated.
yeah.
He certainly
Yes.
did.
That's all I know.
I can tell when I miss meditation. So
Oh,
I
I know.
must be Vulcan.
You. I don't know about that, but I miss it too, Maria, when I don't do it, which is hardly ever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. I think now that we know that Star Trek had all these people that meditated on it,
Mhm.
now I feel at peace in my heart.
And I think actually in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, I think the Klingons also did meditation too. They
Really?
had some kind. They started showing how the Klingons turned out to be really spiritual folks once you got to know them.
Wait, what happened to what's that little guy? I know. I'm like
The little guy.
Quark.
yoga.
Yoda.
Yoda. Oh,
Yoda.
Oh yeah, he was a Zen master.
The little guy.
I mean, that's all meditation and
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is.
speaking in rhyme and right. That's what some people think we all
You
do.
know, now that Alena has brought up Yoda,
Okay.
this has been on my mind all week after a conversation I had with Alena. There is a part there's a part of The Empire Strikes Back where Luke says he's going to walk into a cave, and he says, "What's in the cave?" And Yoda tells him, "You don't need your lightsaber." He says, "What's in the cave?" He says, "Only what you take with you."
Yeah.
And when he got inside, he found conflict and he found evil, and it was because he took it with him. So a lot of times, what we bring into a situation has a lot to do with what we experience, right?
Very Zen. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I've never interpreted that scene quite like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Matt? That
Mhm.
scene?
Yeah, but I interpreted it as he was going to face his most deep, darkest fear. I didn't think that he brought it with him. Huh? Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
He didn't let it go.
yeah,
Interesting.
it is interesting, isn't it?
Huh.
Isn't it the truth?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay. So I think that was taken from Jungian philosophy, I believe, is how they modeled that scene. And then I've
Perhaps.
also heard lots of people say that in your spiritual journey, you inevitably do have to have an experience like that where you really face the stuff that really scares the shit out of you.
Yeah, you do.
And then, but once you finally truly face it and go through it, then you're free of it forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think you always, it would be, wouldn't it be nice to walk into a cave and have it all there just at once and then you're done? But it doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
it wasn't that dramatic. For me, it just took therapy and then it just sort of whooshed away. So I couldn't tell you
Layer, you
that
know?
when cosmic vision I had that where I could say on that day at that moment I conquered my
faced
fear
my
and
fears.
blah blah blah. You know.
I did it.
Yeah.
No, it's more of a gentle and
Yeah.
and that's what a transformation is, right?
Yeah.
It's opening up a new part of the flower, as I like to.
Right. Oh, there you
That's
go.
my own way of
Yeah.
and you are meeting your fear. But I'll tell you what, with each one of those, you break through a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And when you break through that glass ceiling, then your perception changes. And then you start to believe in better and bigger things. And you start to understand a lot more about this life and yourself in it and who you are.
Yeah.
So it's an important growth. I mean, if you read Mary Magdalene's gospel, which I have several times, it's going through the different things that opens you to enlightenment.
Oh wow, I need to read that.
Oh yeah. She names it, you know, like we talk about desire in Buddhism and Taoism and Zenism, and she spoke of it as craving.
Craving.
Craving, which if you look it up, it's obsession.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what it is.
That's what we make desire. We make it an
Mm.
obsession. We have to make the money. We have to do this. We have to.
Mhm.
And when it becomes an obsession, it becomes your God.
Mhm.
And so
No,
you
you're
have to get rid of that craving, and you have to, and you just, she talks about these different things you just have to get rid of, and it brings enlightenment, and it's getting through all your demons, basically.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
What is that?
I wanted to ask before we wrap up. I just want to ask real quick, Maria, what's coming up on your channel or anything that you're doing?
Oh, well, Friday I am going to have Elon on with me. Elon,
Musk. Musk.
Elon Musk?
yeah. Oh,
No.
yes. Yeah, I'm going to bring him on. He's like, let's do this, Maria.
No,
okay,
Elon
I'm
the
watching that
actress,
one.
right?
Sure.
What's that, PG?
Actually,
You're gonna have
Elena,
you're
you
gonna teach
know
me
who
Elon
she
Musk
is.
meditation.
Elena,
All
you
right.
know who she is actually.
I do.
She co-hosts with our friend Marissa Pay on her channel, Marissa Pay's channel.
I know Marissa very well. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm bringing her and her son with me. We're going to be talking about this program he's doing called TAP. And it's just a real quick thing. It's about, he created it for a safe space for bullies, for people who are being bullied, sorry. Not for bullies to gang up, sorry. So she's going to be on. She is a sweetheart, and I'm sure you know. But yeah, I'm excited to have her. And for those who don't know, she is the daughter of Otis Williams, the founder of the Temptations.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Oh, I like
so
the
that's,
Temptations.
yeah.
That was a cool thing.
So
Wow, cool.
yeah, they'll be doing that
Nice.
on Friday.
Great.
Nice,
On
nice.
TNTelly.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Pranakasha, what's coming up next on Pranakasha Productions? Tell us if you're going to be in Vegas and what's going on with your involvement with Space Command.
Okay. Well, there's a new development. Is that Space Command is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, so which is before Vegas. That's going to be end of July, and I'm going to be down there. And in fact, right now I'm working with somebody who's trying to set up an Orville panel that I'm going to be moderating, and Elise Hargreaves is going to be on it,
Very
and then
cool.
a couple other people. And we're trying to get a couple Orville actors on it too. That's in the works.
Very nice.
And then yes, I'll be at Star Trek Las Vegas. There's also going to be quite a few Orville actors there. I'll be in charge of the Space Command table there as well. But in the vendor room, which is going to have like over 100 different Star Trek actors and Orville actors and sci-fi people, so it's going to be crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I'm really looking. So it's going to be a really fun summer.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I'm working on episode 5 of Ecotastic Trek, and in fact tonight I'm shooting a green screen scene with Sarah Marafino, who was one of the actors in Space Command. She's going to be in episode 5 with us, and then it's going to be hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of editing it. So it'll probably be August before it's done. It takes a long time to edit that show. Yeah.
That's cool.
Great.
and
Awesome.
Like it.
Yada yada yada.
Busy
I also
day.
need to mow my lawn pretty soon. It's getting long.
Oh, that's funny.
Elena, do you want to go ahead and give final thoughts on tonight?
Final thoughts. Yeah, sure. Guys, I think, like I said, any way you start is the way you want to start in your spiritual journey. Nothing is wrong because it's personalized to you. And I personally, because for me, I started simply. And what it did for me starting simply, it didn't have intimidation. And so if I'm not intimidated, I was willing to venture further and further into it. And the rewards were great. So don't be intimidated. Do it your own way and just start. And I'll tell you, if you are someone who has the wants of reaching into your own divinity and your own soul, then either check out one of my guided meditations on YouTube, or go to alenachapman.com and check it out. We got a lot going on. We got this Chats with Alena, which is really cool. It's a Q&A for you on concepts that help you grow. And then we've got a cool retreat in Chattanooga this September. Don't forget. And that's Unabashedly Me. I finally got that title right. And I'll tell you, Tweezle, and that is all about getting into your soul. And it is also starting to see the world in a whole different way, gaining strength and confidence, but it's also really getting you into your guides and everything else. It's going to be an immersion. And I'm taking you out into nature and helping you see beyond the veil.
Wow.
Where I live most of the time. And then, so it'll be fun. But that's in September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th.
Very exciting. Very
It
exciting.
is exciting. Yeah.
And that's a nice time to be in Tennessee, right? At the end of
I
summer.
hope so. I'm living there. I'm going to be living there. I hope it's nice. I hope it's warm still. That's the whole idea, right? I hope. Yeah, it is a beautiful time. And I have to say, this is a kudos to Chattanooga. I have been so impressed with the warmth of the people. Incredible warmth. I'm just amazed by it. I haven't met anyone who has been anything but warm. It's incredible. So
That's great.
Me.
Well, yes, of course, Maria. Of course. What was I thinking? But anyway, for everyone out there,
Maria's not warm. She's caliente.
that's a good thing. I think everyone just really start to just walk out in nature, or just take breaths, or listen to music and let yourself get lost in it. You know, you will never look back. You will never look back after that.
Mm-hmm.
We love you all, and I want to
Thank you
thank
so
our
much.
guests for being on. You were so much fun.
Thank you.
Both so much. Maria, it's the very first one. I'm just it was such a pleasure. Matt, I just adore you, my darling.
I equally adore you.
Yeah, it is so fun. It was so
I want to hug you. See, we have to meet in person so I can hug you
no.
and then see how much I love you, and then explain that I say that to everyone so that you don't
Well,
forget.
maybe someday I'll, if I can understand it, I'll come to one of your things with all the Trekkie.
What's that to understand?
I don't know, but when you
It's just there's warp. There's warp 1 through. Okay, so here's all you got to know. There's warp 1.
Listen,
you can never get to warp 10.
Alena, listen. We have an inside track to all this. We do a little meditation. We do a little workshop on Vulcan meditation.
Oh my God!
You get 50 people in there.
Well, okay, Maria, are you the one that heads that up?
I'm gonna study up on that one.
You explore the mysteries of the Vulcan Katra.
Right.
Thank
you for having me here.
There's always something to learn, isn't there? Okay. Well, I'll do it again because it's the only thing I know. There you go.
Okay, Dad, turn your hand around though. It's
The other way.
Way, yeah.
Like this,
No, that was good.
Okay.
There we go. Very good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much.
You.
And I want to thank everybody who's been in here in the chat, everybody who's watching on the replay and joining us on the replay as well. We want to thank Wendy as well for being here. Maria, Matt, Alena, of course. And I want to just go through the chat. Dr. Omega, thank you for being here. Angela, thank you for being here. Let's see. I want to scroll back. Everybody who's been commenting, Inspiration TV. Thank you for being here. Captain Fandom Nerd. Everyone who has dropped in, and that is about as far back as I can go right now. So thank you all, and join us again very likely next week, next Wednesday, if not very soon, for another episode of Live on Alena Chapman.
Yay!
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys. Namaste.
Bye.
Namaste.
I'm so high.